last time I went in to see my doctor, of course, he started talking about cholesterol, and I says, let's not waste our time with that. We'll move on to something else.
Dave, how did you find carnivore?
Well, it's pretty interesting. I was living the standard American lifestyle, uh, just, putting on weight and not exercising and enjoying all the fine foods that we have here. And then I retired a few years ago, and then it was my wife and I, we were living here by ourselves basically, and we would go shopping and of course take advantage of the local restaurants for lunch and enjoying the cheeseburgers and French fries and onion rings and pizza and all that standard food that we have available here. And that started taking a toll on me. And, we would try to go to the movies like once a week. And of course, we'd have to walk up the stairs to get to our assigned seats, and found out that going up and down the stairs was getting harder on my knees as I was doing that. So I was just looking through some of my old books, where I was keeping track of my, my weight and stuff like that. And I saw that at one point in 2017, about mid-year, I got up to like 250 pounds. And that was a little bit too much for me. So it was after Christmas, Thanksgiving and Christmas of 2017, I decided to do something about it. So I'd been listening to some YouTube videos and stuff, and got introduced to Dr. Berg and Dr. Barry and some other people. And they were talking about the keto diet. So, I started doing that. And I guess I had pretty good luck on that. I started knocking the weight off and, started feeling better. And then I think I was introduced to Dr. Baker, and, that carnivore lifestyle sounded pretty good, sounded pretty simple. So anyway, it was in, let's see, May 30th of 2018, I started the carnivore diet. And, on the first few years I was on carnivore, I was, pretty strict, but I found myself, getting less strict over the past time. So ended up, I had lost close to 100 pounds total. I got down into 150s, and then I've loosened up a little bit, and I'm up in the 170s now. So I just never, really thought about it that much. But I think I need to tighten my diet and lifestyle up a little bit now to try to get back to where I was. But it's nice now when we do go to the movies and go up and down the stairs. My knees don't let me know that they're there. They just they're working pretty good. So anyway, things have been a lot better. And listen to some of the other interviews. My wife and I, we were just talking about how fortunate we had been over the years, with medical conditions. We were both pretty healthy and not really experiencing, any problems. About the only thing going was my, some years back, my wife was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And of course, they put her on metformin. And of course, they recommended the standard diabetic lifestyle, the food. Of course, they were high in carbs, for that recommended diet. And she did a lot of research and decided that maybe that wouldn't be the best thing for her. So anyway, she didn't follow their diet, and her diabetes, didn't get any worse. And then when we both sort of switched over to the keto and the carnivore lifestyle, it was soon after that her A1C was checked, and the doctor took her off her metformin. So anyway, we have had our A1Cs checked, and we're both in the low fives. So we're doing real well there. And over times, we've had other recommended lab tests, and they all turned out real good. And of course, when I go to the doctor, he sees my cholesterol. And used to, I was on cholesterol medication, but I stopped that years ago from some of the articles and information I'd read about how statins could affect you. So I stopped taking it years ago. But now my current doctor here in Texas, he was seeing my results and he was wanting me to go back on the statins. But then we start looking at the HDL and triglycerides, and of course my HDLs have came up substantially since I started the carnivore lifestyle, and triglycerides have went down. So it's just like the carnivore people talk about. I was seeing the same thing. So cholesterol, the last time I went in to see my doctor, of course he started talking about cholesterol, and I says, let's not waste our time with that. We'll move on to something else. So anyway, but my wife and I are both, feeling real well and not experiencing any problems. And of course, we've been exposed to a lot of stuff, like back during the pandemic, we were, dealing with that, and we didn't go the vaccination route, but we were never affected by that, even though we were going out and we were, amongst people. We were very fortunate. We never had any problems. So
So
anyway, that's
that's actually, so sorry if I could just on that point. Um, so did either of you actually get COVID when because you were doing carnivore keto for during that time, so
yeah.
you didn't contract it?
No, fortunately we did not, even though we were probably exposed to it. But
Mm.
I think that the lifestyle, especially the dietary standpoint, contributed a lot to us not getting that. And it is, you know, nothing else either. We haven't had to go to the doctor for illness for I don't know how many years now. But it seems like we're staying real healthy on the carnivore lifestyle.
Mm. So, I always find this kind of thing interesting, like when someone who's doing a high-fat diet, when they have high cholesterol and they either get sick or they're able to avoid getting sick. It always feels to me like the cholesterol has some kind of protective benefit, or there's something going on.
Yes, yes. I've listened to several doctors, on YouTube talking about how cholesterol does help your immunity, and I think they've pointed out studies that have showed people with low cholesterol has more illnesses than people with high cholesterol. So I think it is a contributing factor.
So, how are you and your wife? You're basically eating the same way, and how do you eat during the day?
Well, we got introduced to intermittent fasting, and we don't eat until the afternoon. Usually, like 2, 3 o'clock, we'll have something to eat, and then in the evening we'll have our bigger meal, more like a dinner type thing. But even when we're out shopping or traveling or whatever, we've became very good at getting a carnivore lifestyle. It may not be the cleanest thing, but we found that most like fast foods, whether it's McDonald's or Wendy's or here in Texas, we got Whataburger. And but anyway, back when we first started this, we would go to those type of restaurants and we would want just the meat patties. And they would scratch their heads and call the manager over and see how you'd ring that up and how they could do that. But over the years, we found that it's so easy now just to go into, some of these restaurants and say, yes, I'd like to have 2 of the quarter-pound meat patties, and that's all. And they say, okay, here's your total. So anyway, they've got a lot better about understanding. So apparently the carnivore lifestyle is getting more popular as time goes on. hopefully because people's finding that does provide medical, benefits. And of course, throughout the times, we get questions about, well, what about this or that? You don't eat vegetables, you don't eat the fruit. And, like I was talking to the one person about just eating meat, and was asking, well, what about going to the bathroom? I said, yeah, it works just fine. Not as often as it used to, but everything just works good.
How, like, people around you kind of will ask that, "What about fruit?" Or, how long are you gonna stay doing this crazy diet or whatever? But, like, how have people reacted as far as has anyone gone, "Well, that looks like you're doing really well. Can I try that?" Or
Well, some people's asked me, how we've done this, but most people, I don't know if they're just trying to be polite and don't want to embarrass you or something. But I've had very few people actually ask me, how I've lost weight and stuff, and how But anyway, if they do, I tell them how the lifestyle that we're leading and living, and I found, of course, when we like go out to dinner with somebody, we have to, sort of, work with the menu, whatever type of restaurant it is, to get the stuff. And of course, sometimes it comes with the sides. So we go ahead and get the sides and, offer to the people that we're with. Or if we're around home, we'll actually just get a carry out and bring it back to the farm here and feed it to the pigs. They love that kind of stuff. So,
so you're living on a farm?
yep. Yep. That's our cattle. They're behind me. So, yeah, if we get hungry, we just go out in the back field and get something to eat there. So yeah, we butcher our own cow, grass fed, grass finished beef. And well, we live here on the ranch with our son and his family, and they grow turkeys and chickens and pigs. So like for Thanksgiving, they butchered a couple of their turkeys, and they had a ham from one of their pigs they'd processed. So we had all, farm raised, meat here for Thanksgiving dinner, and we'll be doing the same for our Christmas dinner too. So,
Oh, nice. So does your son kind of do carnivore, semi-carnivore?
well, no, not really. Him and his wife are doing something now, doing some type of cleanse for their system, and I was just talking to her the other day, and I says, "You should just join me on the carnivore lifestyle." And of course, she know about it. And when I first started emailing with you, I didn't know anything about making this type of connection. And my son and daughter-in-law, they have a YouTube channel. They do like a weekly meetup, and it lasts a couple hours. So they're pretty informed about how this stuff works. So I got her involved, and I gave her of course, your name. And so anyway, she went out and she listened to some of your videos, some of your interviews with other people. And so anyway, she helped me get set up there. So, but yeah, it's just very interesting, as we've lived this lifestyle. And we go out, like we go shopping at our Walmart, just seeing what people do, what they look like, and then you look in their cart and you say, well, that explains a lot of why they look the way they do. And that happens at Costco. I don't know if you're familiar with Costco or not, but anyway, they have a lot of stuff, carb loaded stuff, right? As you first go in, and once again, people just loading up on all that kind of stuff. So
And I guess at Costco as well, it all comes in jumbo sizes, right? So it's not just like
yeah.
one chocolate bar or something. It's like 26 pallets of chocolate bars.
Yeah, like we go in there and if we get a bag of tortilla chips, It's we almost have to get a hand truck to get it out. It's so big, and of course, I remember years ago hearing that if your quantity is bigger, you have a tendency to eat more. So I try to, discourage buying those big ones, just to, take away temptation and stuff. But it's price wise, it's just too tempting sometimes to pass up. So,
Yeah, it's I've got a Costco that's sort of semi close to me, but I don't have a car, so it just makes no sense to shop at Costco because I can never buy big enough to, you know.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be like a lot of people, they go out and they buy a lot of like vegetables, to make a salad to go with their steak or whatever. And they use a quarter of their vegetables and the rest of them get thrown away because they never get around to finish them off. So, that's just an expense that, as a carnivore, you don't experience because, you don't eat all your steak. Hey, just put it in the fridge. You'll have it next day. So, and, that's another thing we eat predominantly ground beef, I guess it is. And, we like last night we had steaks and, uh, but we found, different ways to use the ground beef, and so we always have, something different to eat. Like I don't know, you probably know the steak and butter gal. Yeah, she years ago was watching her, and she was talking about making her mom's egg drop soup. So we do that. Did that the other night. We started out with some ground beef and some beef broth, and cooked the beef in the broth, and then we dumped in some scrambled, whipped up eggs, stirred that around, and that was another one of those cold evenings here in Texas. So that egg drop soup was real good, in the cold out that night. So, and then just other ways like I have a George Foreman grill, and I'll take, I don't know, like a pound of ground beef, crumble it up into foil, wrap the foil up, and put it on the Foreman for, I don't know, half an hour, to go out and do something else, come back, and my dinner is ready for me right there, and just eat it right out of the foil and wrap the foil up and throw it away, and no dishes, and the cleanup is real easy that way.
You've lost significant weight, like between, 80 and 100 pounds, I guess. Um, you mentioned that, your knees are doing much better, which, is always a good thing. What other things have improved for you in the time that you've been doing carnivore?
Well, I think I'm sleeping better, and when I get up in the mornings, I'm wide awake and ready to go do whatever I need to. And I that's probably one of my shortcomings, is that I don't sleep that much total. I get, I don't know, 5 6 hours of sleep a night, but I can keep going during the day, so it seems to must be enough for me. So, and like I was saying earlier, we were very fortunate in that we never had, any major medical problems in the past. So, I can't, experience, getting over anything really.
Sleeping better is, I mean, obviously that's such an important thing, even if you're not sleeping that much, which I'm kind of in the same boat. I sleep better, but yeah, I'm only sleeping about 5 hours a night. Um, has anything changed as far as how you feel about the future?
Well, I guess I was always, pretty optimistic about the future, but it, from a health wise, I feel that, of course, I was very fortunate. Both of my parents lived up into their 90s, so we had some, pretty good age, results there. So, I just feel by living this lifestyle that maybe I've increased my possibilities of repeating their longevity. So I, of course, I worry about, think about, other people not having, the long life like that. So, but I guess that's all part of life. You have to deal with it. So.
This is it for you as far as the way you're eating going forward?
Well, yes, yes, I think that I'll finish my life out eating this way. So as long as I can get my beef, I think I'm good. So
Speaking of that, what's the climate like in the US or around where you are in Texas about eating meat? Uh, there seems to be a bigger push to, move plant-based by governments and perhaps even local governments, like for with New York or London as examples. Um, how's things in Texas?
well, well, of course, beef is a very big commodity here in Texas, and we were very fortunate that we can basically go to Costco and just get about anything we want at any time. Now we have a son living back in Maryland, and he also goes to Costco. And I don't know, I guess it might have been back during the pandemic or sometime they would say that they would go to Costco, and they couldn't find any beef. But we were always very fortunate that we we could always get beef. There was a time or two that we did go to Costco, and of course they have the big packs of ground beef, and there wasn't any in there. And it was later in the day, so I guess they had sold out, earlier in the day. But yeah, we've been very fortunate, and it's always been available. Even at, like Walmart, they usually have anything that you want there. So what we haven't seen any like governmental intervention in eating meat here. So that's one of the
Oh, that's
benefits of living in Texas.
Yeah, that's great. It's I guess a good advertisement for other carnivores who may be living in other states or overseas or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Um, nice. So do you have an Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or anything if people want to reach out to you, Dave?
Well, no, I don't. I guess the best way is I don't know if there's some way you could put out my email address. If people want to talk to me, I'd be more than happy to email people. And though I've never really thought about starting a YouTube channel, but there's so many out there already. But I've been tempted to, because some of the easy little recipes that we do, we can make some shorts. Like I just some people miss having their rolls when they have their hamburgers. So I found somebody on YouTube that they was talking about making tortillas, and they took the pork panko, egg, and butter, and then fried it up into a tortilla, and they were doing that. So I made that, and I have one of those little waffle iron type things, but it's not the actual waffle; it's just flat. So I can mix up one egg and a quarter cup of pork panko and a little butter, and put it in there. And next thing I know, I got myself a nice roll I can put my hamburger on. But I also found that they're very good for like egg and bacon sandwich. So when I feel like having eggs and bacon, that works out good for those too. So
That sounds great. Yeah. And if you do start up a channel to put out your recipes or whatever, please let me know and I'll link to it.
well, I'd certainly be glad to, Dave.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story, Dave.
Well, thanks for having me, and it was very nice to be able to talk to you, and and just keep up the good work of spreading the word, like we were talking earlier. You getting people from all different walks of life, different backgrounds, medical, problems and stuff. Getting letting other people hear that can help them, I believe, with their questions they might have. So keep up the good job.